So you want to lose body fat, but you don't know where or how to start. Well, here are 10 easy steps for successful body fat loss. Number 1, non-negotiable factor. Calorie deficit. So a calorie deficit is when you consume less calories than what you burn daily. So how do you know how many calories you burn daily? How do you go about implementing a calorie deficit? You need to start by finding your TDEE, also known as total daily energy expenditure. This tool pretty much factors in your daily activity, height, weight, as well as age, to then give you an estimated amount of calories which you burn in a day. This is known as calorie maintenance. This then brings us to number 2. Find your baseline. Finding your baseline, meaning finding your calorie maintenance, is an important step to understand where you currently stand, meaning how many calories you have to consume to keep your weight the same. By having this information, you can then implement a calorie deficit accordingly. However, in order to do this brings us to number 3. Learn how to track your calories and macros. Typically, the most efficient way to track your calories and macros is by using some sort of tracking app. Now, obviously, there's tons of choices on the market. However, one of the best choices, which is free, is MyFitnessPal. Now, part of this step is learning and taking your time to really understand how to track your calories and macros. Obviously, this takes tons of time and practice. However, over time, you'll get the hang of it and it'll become second nature. Essentially, this step is very important because you want to know exactly what you're eating every single day to then be able to compare this to what your calorie goal is. And as said in the beginning, you need a calorie deficit, so that is what you're aiming for. To be as efficient as possible, you want to use measuring tools and or a food scale. Step number 4, trial and error. So obviously, finding your maintenance is going to take some trial and error. So as said in the beginning, the TDEE tool only gives you an estimated amount of calories that you should be consuming. With this in mind, within your trial and error, you'll need to be adjusting your calories accordingly to the point where you find your maintenance. Number 5, tracking body weight and physical changes. So as you adjust your calories accordingly to find your maintenance, as you track your body weight, you'll slowly find a pattern in which your weight stays the same. This is your maintenance. So whatever calories you are eating, where you find that pattern, you now know that those are the calories that you have to consume to maintain your current weight. Number 6, find where your weight becomes even. So as just explained, once you find your maintenance, you'll have a better idea on how to implement the deficit that you are looking for. Number 7, implement the deficit. So once you find your maintenance calories, you simply decrease a specific amount. Something to keep in mind is that you can also increase your activity level to account for this deficit, meaning you can create a deficit with extra activity such as cardio, or simply eat less by decreasing your calories. Number 8, how much of a deficit. So the exact amount of deficit is completely dependent on the person. There are some things they should keep in mind. The larger the deficit, the more noticeable and faster the results, and obviously the lesser the deficit, the more slower the results. Now, although the larger deficit does seem like a better idea, leaning towards a larger deficit will likely result in excessive hunger and even muscle loss. This is especially the case if the calorie deficit is implemented for an extended period of time. Now, given the fact that most of the people watching are newer to dieting, it's always best to start slow and take your time with the whole process. Number 9, food choice. Although in a technical sense, the foods that you choose do not matter for caloric-wise. In order to optimize your health, performance, and satiety, you should always opt for more nutrient-dense, high-volume foods. These foods are higher in nutrients and will keep you full for longer. And given that hunger is one of the biggest drawbacks for many people, keeping this in check is very important. Number 10, tips to curb hunger. So there are a lot of ways to curb your hunger, some of which include chewing gum, brushing teeth more frequently, taking a nap, black coffee, green tea, diet energy drinks, diet soda, and drinking more water. With all of these tips in mind, it's important to mention that this is a very slow process. However, if you can take your time and really appreciate the journey, you will be successful in reaching your goals, and you can even inspire others to lose body fat as well.